All right, so why are people moving to Idaho now? You might be searching the internet thinking, okay, where am I going to go to next? And you know that there's a huge influx of people in the state of Idaho, especially in the Treasure Valley, Boise area. So why is it? Why are people coming here? What are some of the top reasons why? You're trying to figure out, hey, is it a good place to live cost of living wise? Are the houses cheap? Is the land cheap? Are the utilities cheap? Is the taxation rates low? Like what's the reason why people are coming here? If you could like and subscribe to this channel, we get into topics like this all the time that have to do with the Boise, Treasure Valley area, have to do with Idaho in general, have to do with real estate, home improvement stuff, you name it. So we get into all that kind of stuff on this channel. So if that interests you at all, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Otherwise, let's get into some of the reasons why a large amount of people are now deciding to move to the Treasure Valley, Boise area. So number one, this is the number one thing that I'm putting on my list of reasons why people are moving to the state of Idaho. It would be government interference. So Idaho has a general feeling about it that the government should kind of stay out of your business and do minimal as possible, only run the actual infrastructure, such like that. In other states, the state that I came from specifically, just to mention one, had a lot of government interference, and during the pandemic in 2020, just as an example, they had about 36% of all small businesses lost during the pandemic in 2020. That is a staggering amount of small businesses considering the population of people in California is about 40 million people. So in the state of Idaho, we have a lot less people. We have about 2 million people in the whole state, but it's such a small number of businesses that were actually lost and never reopened that I searched and searched and searched, and I could not find an accurate percentage. All I could find were articles talking about 20 businesses were closed as of the end of 2020 in the Boise area, all that kind of stuff. I can't even find you an exact number, but I do remember from memory seeing a chart way back when that showed that Idaho had almost a net zero loss as far as businesses closing and not reopening and not being replaced with something else when they reopened, that kind of thing. So just to put it in perspective, we have some states, a lot of states in the country that have a lot of government oversight, a lot of government overreach that kind of tell you how to live your life, and Idaho is not one of those places. Number two, so growth. Growth is huge here in the Idaho state, but especially in the Treasure Valley area around the city of Boise, that area. One of the reasons why a lot of people are coming here is there's a lot of opportunity. Since there's so many people moving here, we have such an influx. What happens when people move here is there's demand for stuff. There's demand for businesses. There's demand for restaurants. There's demand for stores, demand for products, that kind of thing, services. There's a lot of demand for businesses that just aren't here, quite frankly. The odds of you opening up a business here in this area and having it be successful are astronomically more than if you were to start a business up in, say, California or Oregon or Washington, something like that. A lot of people are coming here with that idea in mind that they're going to open up a business and they're going to be able to run a successful business without as much government overreach, as much taxation, as much regulation and permits needed, and on and on and on. So I would say that is a definite top on the list of reasons why people are moving here. All right, number three. So this state is extremely Second Amendment friendly, and to a lot of people, especially people that are coming from states where their Second Amendment rights have been stifled or just restricted heavily, this state does not have any real gun laws to speak of. Of course, you do have to get a background check and all that kind of stuff, the federal checks and all that when you buy a gun. But other than that, I mean, there aren't really many rules, and it's very nice to be able to conceal carry without a permit. All these things, you can own a gun and not have to fear someone knocking on your door asking to show you the gun, that kind of thing, which a lot of people in certain states, not to name states, but that have had that happen to them. So this state is extremely Second Amendment friendly. That is definitely a reason why a lot of people choose to come to Idaho. Okay, so number 4 on the list. So this state is extremely tax friendly. If you're comparing to other states, we have a very low income tax. Income tax ranges from 1 to 6.5% income tax, depending on your income. We have low sales tax at 6.5% statewide. A lot of the fees to get into a business are extremely low. The corporate taxes are extremely low. If you start a corporation here, it's much lower than a lot of other states. In general, there's just a lot less cost that goes into starting a business, running your life. In general, there's just a lot less taxes that you'll have to pay if you live here. and they make a lot more sense. And just from this last election that we just had in the midterms, they actually had something on the ballot that talked about our large excess of taxes that we have sitting in our budget. We have a huge surplus, the biggest in the state's history. And they asked the taxpayers, do you want that money back? Do you want us to credit you that money back through credits to your property taxes or whatnot? And it won with a yes overwhelmingly. The state is extremely low taxation friendly. And so that is definitely on the top of people's lists when they look at moving to the Idaho state and the Boise area. So number 5 on my list is going to be the scenery. Definitely the scenery is absolutely amazing. In the Treasure Valley area, it's a very flat, low elevation area, which makes it extremely nice to live in. But if you want to go see the most beautiful scenery, the most beautiful lakes and creeks and rivers, if you want to go mountain biking in some of the most spectacular areas you've ever seen, if you want to go up and see the snow, all you have to do from this area where I live in, which is the Treasure Valley area, is drive about anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on where you want to go. And you are in the most spectacular areas. We have hot springs. We have about 170 or so natural hot springs that you can go to. There are just so many things you can do, camping, fishing. So this is one of those places that is just an outdoor person's dream. This place is amazing, and it's definitely one of the top reasons why people are moving to our area. Okay, so number 6 on the list would definitely have to be getting away from the big cities. For me personally, this was on the top of my list. It was one of the top 3 things on my personal list for why I wanted to move here. My biggest goal was to get out of these dense cities with all the crazy traffic, people stacked on top of each other, and just the massive amount of population that surrounds you. That my goal was to get somewhere that was more spaced out, a little bit more relaxed of a feel, a little bit slower pace of life. So definitely the Idaho state in general definitely accomplishes that. If you go into these really small towns away from the Treasure Valley, it's going to be even more amplified. But even here where we have 900,000 or so people in the Treasure Valley area, it still has that feel to it. I live in a small town of about 13,000 people here in Star, Idaho, which is about 30 minutes or so away from the city of Boise. And I love it. It's great. So just having that smaller feel of a town, everybody's friendly. Everybody kind of waves to each other. People don't really know each other's names. It's not quite that small here, but there are places that have that. So if you're looking for that larger open area feel where you see cornfields and you have more of a mountain landscape and you can see the stars easier and all that kind of stuff, definitely moving to the state of Idaho would accomplish that. And it's a tremendous place to live and call home. All right, so number 7 on my list of reasons why people move to the state of Idaho would definitely have to be the safety. The safety of this state, the low crime rate is extremely good. We have an extremely low crime rate here in the state of Idaho. It's only 1 in 415 chance of having some violent crime committed against you. If you contrast that crime rate from the state of Idaho at 1 in 415 chance in having a violent crime committed against you, the state of California is 1 in 227 chance of having a violent crime committed against you. And in the city of LA inside California, which is the most, if not one of the most populated cities in California, is 1 in 134 chance. So compare that to 134 chance to 1 in 415 chance in Idaho. And then take that a step further and take one of the cities that's right next to me, which is the city of Eagle. In Eagle, Idaho, it's 1 in 900 chance that you're going to get a violent crime committed against you. Eagle is not the most populated place, but if you take one of the most populated cities, like say Meridian, which is right next to Eagle, it's about 1 in 600 chance that you're going to get a violent crime committed against you. Just contrasting those two alone, I know every place is a little bit different, but if you're contrasting those two places, it's not hard to see why people are fleeing from certain places and coming to Idaho. It's an extremely safe place to live. It's a very clean and nice and neat place to live. So definitely safety is definitely on the top of a lot of people's minds when they move to Idaho. Okay, so number 8 on the list of reasons why people are moving to the state of Idaho, I alluded to this earlier, but it's definitely the friendliness of people. So me personally and my family, when we came to visit Idaho to look and see if this is someplace that we wanted to call home, we definitely noticed one of the first things that we saw was people actually wave to each other here. If you're from Idaho originally or some small town somewhere in Texas or something like that, You're probably used to people waving to you when you don't know them, people saying hi to you when they walk by you, people smiling, engaging. But when you're from somewhere like Southern California, like I'm from, or any place in California for that matter, unless you're in the middle of nowhere kind of thing, you're not going to be used to that. And so for me and my family, we were driving down the road and we had experienced that. We had experienced people just waving and smiling and kind of stopping and talking to us and engaging and that kind of thing. And so even people that are here that are from other states that moved here in the last few years, they appreciate it so much that they carry that on. So they're continuing to be friendly, and they're kind of continuing that mantra on of being friendly to people and waving, saying hi, being hospitable and neighborly. So that's definitely one of the top reasons why my family and I moved here, but it's on the top list of a lot of people. Finally, number 9 on our list of reasons why people are moving to the state of Idaho is definitely the slower pace of life. A lot of people are used to the hustle bustle of commuting long distances in freeway traffic, that kind of thing. You don't even have to live in the center of LA or in San Francisco or something like that to experience that. You can live outside of a big city, and a lot of people have sprawled outwards away from these big cities. They still work there, but they decided to live 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, depending on traffic. Here, we do have a little bit of a commute usually just because there's not a lot of freeways going through our smaller towns. However, that does not equate to the stress of commuting in rush hour traffic on the freeway, stop and go bumper to bumper traffic. Just having that slower pace of life, not having to rush where you're going, not having to deal with angry, pissed off drivers, that kind of thing, just gives you that sense of a slower pace, a little bit smaller feel of a town, that kind of thing. And it's definitely one of the reasons why a lot of people that have just had it with these busy cities end up moving to the Idaho and Treasure Valley areas. All right, so hopefully those things that I listed help you kind of figure out, why are people going there? Is this something that I might want to look into? I know the housing prices here are a lot more than they were just 7 years ago or 5 years ago, that kind of thing, even though the market's kind of leveled off a little bit and it's on its way down a little bit here, just like everywhere else. You still have a lot of people that really want to come here. You might be wondering, why is that? Why do I see Boise all of a sudden? Why is that? Hopefully this will help you figure that out. Hopefully it helped you kind of learn a little bit about why people want to live here, why I moved here. So if you have any questions about this area, you can either check out our other videos where we talk about that kind of stuff, or if you'd like, you can just give us a call and I can go over it with you. You can send me a text. You can go on our website, idahopulse.com. You can contact us through there, through our web link. So anyways, I hope this helped you guys out. Hopefully it helps you get an idea of what it's like to live here and why people are moving here. So if you could like and subscribe, again, that helps us out tremendously. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to hear from you, and good luck in your real estate endeavors.